Hey, Fun Nation! Week 4 is officially over. Tonight on FRC Roundup, we'll be taking a look at 3 topics that cover everything from the current meta of Reefscape to what we believe the new RP thresholds for championships may be, and a discussion on the new control system updates that came out this past week. All of this and more coming up on this episode of FRC Roundup.
This video on fun is brought to you by viewers like you and also in partnership with the following. AndyMark is your one-stop shop for all your robotics competition needs. Celebrating 20 years of quality robotics parts and superior service, AndyMark employees have over 200 years of first-team experience. From mechanical and electrical products to tools and hardware, head on over to AndyMark.com for high-quality and affordable solutions. Earn up to a $5,000 sponsorship for your team or $2,000 individual prize when you provide a video submission to the Altair Global Student Contest at altair.com/contest. You can build better robots faster with Altair tools and provide multiple video submissions for the contest. Download Altair tools for free. Scan the QR code or go to altair.com/contest for further details.
Welcome to the show. If you have not caught our show previously, FRC Roundup is where we take a look at important topics currently happening in FRC, highlight some discussion points about events that may have happened, strategy, or really anything that correlates with FRC. If you, the fun community, think there's a topic that we should cover on FRC Roundup, please feel free to ping me in the fun Discord. I'll be more than happy to take a look at it. If you're not familiar with me, my name is Nick Mathis, currently in the 1st and Michigan region, and I'm a mentor on Team 33, the Killer Bees.
And I'm Connor McBride, mentor for Team 166 Chop Shop and an MC and game announcer in the New England District. Our guest tonight is Cory Walters. Cory is the drive coach for 2767 Stryke Force out of Kalamazoo, Michigan, and has been in first for 24 years and has been with Stryke Force since 2013. Cory, welcome to the show.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Thanks, Connor. Thanks, Nick, for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Always good have another fellow Michigander on the show. But without further ado, let's jump in right into topic 1. Our continued rotation topic that we have from week to week, and it's going to be discussing Reefscape meta. Cory and I both had the privilege of competing this weekend in Michigan. Cory, definitely one of the more difficult ones in Michigan. And then Connor, I believe you were also volunteering this past weekend, so we all got to see a good view of the game and where it developed throughout the week. So I'll kind of hit it from my perspective, and then we'll go to Cory, and then I'll be curious to hear what Connor thinks. But 33 had the privilege of competing at Troy this past weekend. A lot of good teams, and surprisingly a good amount of teams that were competing for the first time. I think there was 9 or 10 teams that it was their first event of the year. So hats off to those teams for prepping and getting ready, but that was good to see. But yeah, so the big thing for us for 33 was just trying to get consistency. We had a couple things that we changed between week 1 and week 4 here that we wanted to get tuned in for MSC and wanted to highlight what some of the weaknesses still are within the robot before we get to MSC coming here in 2 weeks already. So a big thing for us was, I think week 1 we kind of focused on preparing for wins rather than focusing on the Coral RP, because I think I've said it on here before, but we kind of approached week 1 as, the Coral RP was a trap. And as people are now getting more familiar with their robots and getting more competitive within the game, it's starting to develop now that you can start to really push for the RP. So that was kind of our approach throughout the weekend. We're still playing a lot of the hybrid role between, we found ourselves that we are pretty damn good at algae than some of the other robots that we've been working with. So we've been focusing on that, and it played into our strengths. We had a great time playing with a 9245, who in my opinion is arguably the best level 2, level 3 robot for sure in the state of Michigan, if not in the wider region. They focus on those 2 specific things, really good at it. Finals 1, which is shown on screen here, we actually filled the reef with like 20 seconds left between the 2 of us, and we kind of focused on that algae role while 9245 worked on level 2, 3, and then we worked our way from level 4 down. And that was kind of our approach. It worked great for us. Ended up as the Troy district winners. But yeah, basically, kind of stuck with the same meta. Really like the 2 offense, 1 defense strategy. I think there was one time we tried to run triple O in quals, and 4 robots on the field with algae everywhere and coral is a mistake. It's too much going on, too many pieces on the floor. But yeah, Cory, you guys also had a great weekend, 16-1, winners of the West Michigan District. How was things on the west side of the state?
It was pretty competitive. So we had a lot of really good teams in West Michigan, plus some people that aren't normally there, like Lightning Robotics. A lot of similar faces from what we saw at St. Joe a couple weeks ago. We also had, I don't know, maybe 9 or 10 teams as their first outing. So definitely this wide variety of teams there. Definitely a good time. The going to St. Joe is definitely don't mess up, get your district points, get out alive. And now that has happened, we went to West Michigan trying to just take our robot and speed it up and go as fast as we can everywhere we go. The elevator at St. Joe was at about half speed, so we split that up. Made some differences to our algae end effector to be faster at grabbing algae off the reef to do those super cycles, as you guys like to call them. And yeah, that's what Ari's trying to do. So super cycles. So trying to get really fast at that. Once we got into elims, we didn't do the whole 2 offense, 1 defense thing as Nick did. We actually ran triple offense. We managed to find a gem in our last pick who just a tank drive robot, could pick up coral off the ground, scored on level 1, and had a deep climb that we had to help get it more secure in our pit. But absolute fantastic robot. The driver of 8397 was also an esports state champion. So fire in his heart, wants to compete, and was like a ninja on the field. Was never in our way, always backed out when he needed to. Just would move and dance around us in 862, and it was just, you never knew they were there, but they're always putting in value.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, good to. I think you guys were one of the strategies, like you said, that ran triple offense and really established a flow that worked well for you guys. And when you have a driver that's an esports champion on your alliance, that's always great to have. Connor, you got to see it from a volunteer perspective, so you probably got to watch a lot more matches than Cory or I might have, obviously, as we were competing. Where do you think the game developed, or has developed moving into week 4 here? And what were your overall thoughts from the week?
Yeah, so I was at the UNH district event this past weekend, game announcing. I think this event was a sneak preview of our district championship, to be completely honest. The depth of field was pretty insane. The lowest scoring match in the playoffs was 102. Every single alliance, like if that alliance was formed at a week 1 or a week 2, at least in New England, that team is that alliance is at minimum making it to the finals, like no question about it. I saw a lot of triple offense, even in quals, not necessarily of just teams being like, no, I want to see my robot work and we want to be able to score, but it's like a lot of triple offense where it just made sense. Whether if it was 3 robots cycling coral or having a robot doing algae and coral on a hybrid. But as you see here in the finals, this was your classic 2 offense, 1 defense. I think defense will still be a little bit viable, really depending upon what you end up getting for that 3rd robot on your alliance. But I think a majority of the alliances at UNH were running triple offense because they were able to have that well-rounded alliance and be able to put up a decent amount of points through that all as well. I think I expect to see a whole lot more triple offense starting in 2 weeks when a lot of districts start going to their district championship. I think that ground coral is, I'm waiting for that to really start to pop off in New England. We have a couple teams that have been doing it. I know of some teams that are starting to try and get some ground intake for coral and be able to pop them up on level 1. A lot of teams are working on that. So I'm really excited to see what happens.
Yeah, very nice. Thanks for the insight from the further east. Tyler, you had something for Cory?
Cory, I had a question for you just from watching your Finals 1 match on here. So I noticed when you're talking about 8397, I noticed on here that in Finals 1, they went in parked with about 40 seconds left. Can you just talk about some of the strategy behind that? Like, at what point did they score enough L1 for you that you were going to send them over and say, hey, go park, get ready to climb, things like that?
They had to go through the cages and come back the other side. So for them to do the lineup took time, and it was just a value of time situation, right? They'd have to put up 6 coral on level 1 to make up their climb. So it's not worth trying to get like one last coral in when you could just send them early, and it kind of then gives us some lightning the rest of the room we need to go start filling the reef. But it's a point value system, right? It's like it's more value for time for them to go and line up and climb. If they would go at the end when like us and lightning would go, they disturb the cages, right? And they have to go through the other side and come back.
So you got an esports state champion that also has a deep climb as a third robot.
And could pick up coral off the ground and score on level 1. Yes.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
That like, it sounds like an ideal third robot. That's
right.
pretty crazy that you guys got that all the way around. Yeah, hats off to them. 83.97. Congrats on is that it's their first event win.
Mm-hmm.
And it's their first event of the year, so competing at Kentwood this coming weekend. So if you're watching the show, congrats to you all, and sounds like you had a great time this weekend. All right, well, before we jump into the next topic, let's bring on Tyler to hear from our friends at AndyMark and start our first giveaway.
Yeah, thanks for answering that too, Cory. That's really insightful in terms of strategy. So, hey, a couple things with friends at AndyMark. Just a reminder, if you're still watching us in March, they do have their 25% off sale going on through the end of March at AndyMark.com. So go see what products you can pick up if you're getting ready for DCMP, your Week 6 event, or even championships as well too. And speaking about championships, teams at Champs can place an order, and AndyMark will deliver it to the AndyMark booth for you to pick up right at Champs. So this is available both for FTC and FRC teams to take advantage of this. AndyMark's going to have booths in both areas, so make sure you stop by to see what demos they're showcasing, some new products they might be having as well too, and giving attendees a chance to connect with the AndyMark team as well. So if you want to talk to them about what's coming out, and who knows, maybe they've got some cool stuff for you down in the booth as well too. So head on over to AndyMark.com and see more about their sale. If you're going to be at the World Championship, make sure you go check them out in their booth as well too. They do have a giveaway that they're starting as well for well, first off, Cool Robots is going to be the keyword for that, but these are for the 3/8 inch hex ID 7/8 inch OD sealed flange bearings. You get a pack of 6 of these. So they have a thick inner race, giving it a dynamic load rating of over 175 pounds, protected by a low resistance seal that prevents dirt and debris from locking up, letting it spin freely. So if you're interested in winning this, type Cool Robots in chat. Right now, that's your opportunity to win. Don't forget, if you're a YouTube subscriber, you do get 3 times luck. All you got to do, click that subscribe button. Helps you stay up to date on all the great content we have coming out on fun. Thanks again to AndyMark for the awesome giveaway. We'll draw for that in just a little bit. Let's send it back to the team.
Thanks again from our friends at AndyMark. Jumping into our next topic of the night. Let's start with the team update. So team update 18, I believe, came out last week, noting that First is not going to be increasing any of the RPs. So auto barge or coral RPs are not going to be increased for district championships, which I'm a bit surprised by, admittedly. They still left the door open for the ability to raise it for the championship, which I expect. So I had some time today. I want to give a shout out to Clayton Yocom, one of our software mentors, had some time to pull down some data from the TBA API in relation to the RPs that I want to share with you all. Starting with the Coral RP. So the data I'm providing is essentially the overall opportunities of the RP being achieved. So obviously each match has 2 opportunities, 1 per alliance. So for the percent of the Coral RP that was achieved was 8.6% for every match that has happened to date. If the RP was increased to 6 rather than 5 Coral, it would drop down to 2.2%. If it was increased to 7 per level, you're looking at 0.7%. So in my mind, I think actually first of all, I thought those numbers were a lot lower than I originally had thought. So I was surprised to see that. But in general, I think that, I'm actually okay with leaving the Coral RP. The 2 that get me are the barge and the auto RP. So the barge RP, out of the overall match to date, out of the overall opportunities provided, 35.2% have achieved the barge RP. And that's at its 14 points, I think is what it is right now. If it was increased to 16, so essentially a deep climb in 2 parks, it only drops down to 20%. So you're only dropping 15%. If you increase it to 18, which is essentially, a deep, shallow in a park or two deeps, you're looking at 5.5%, which I think is a little low. So in my mind, I think like I thought for sure for district champs they were going to increase it to 16. I think 16 is a good number. It gets you still in an area where people are achieving it, but it's not super low. So we'll table that for a sec, and then we'll jump to the auto RP. This is the one that kills me and how they did nothing with. Overall, 52.8% of opportunities have achieved the auto RP. Which
really?
Hindsight, yeah, that is a lot higher than I thought it was.
Yeah, I thought that would be more like 25 to 30, to be honest.
Yeah, so 52.8% of opportunities have achieved the auto RP matches to date. If you moved it to two pieces, it's still 30%. And if you move to three pieces, you drop down to 15%. So just to recap, Coral RP, it's at 8.6 right now. If it increased to 6, it dropped down to 2.2. If you increase it to 7, it drops down to 0.7%. Barge RP, so 12 or 14 points right now, it's at 35.2%. If you increase it to 16 points, it drops down to 20%. And if you increase it to 18 points, it drops down to 5.5%. And the auto RP overall opportunities 52.8%. If you moved it to two pieces, 30%. If you move it to three pieces, 15.1%. So, Cory, let's start with you. When we introduced the topic, you had some interesting thoughts on it. I think we're all on the same page that we're a bit disappointed to not see it move, at least for district championships. Let's start there. Are you surprised with the consistent rule change for DCMP?
Yeah, I mean the previous numbers, like the whole people parking would have been less, but people would have done the end game differently had it been higher threshold, right?
Yep.
So
yeah, shallow climbs now become incredibly important, right? If you increase that,
out of the very few teams that have it,
right?
Yeah.
But the auto RP, it's a feel good moment. Everybody got across the line. It's a kumbaya, right? You get to go and make sure your partners get across the line. You get to help each other. But by the time you get to district champs and worlds, you better be crossing that line. For the Coral RP, I like to see it go up to 21 rather than 15. And the reason for 21 instead of the 18 is because this is 21 after co-op, to be fair. You have to get 7 coral on 3 levels or 7 coral on 4 levels. And the reason for that, it requires you to remove an additional algae from the reef. Because if you just do 6, you only have to move 3. Right now, you already have to remove 3 anyways, or 2, right? So it requires another algae to be gone to get. So I would like to see that bumped up to 21.
Man,
but then it forces, it's a lot.
That's a lot.
But individual robots are doing, 13, 14, 15 on by themselves by the time you put autos in. So, but it changes the game because now it's a more offensive minded game. You're going to see less defense because teams are going to want to get that RP, and you're going to have all 3 robots contributing to get that. So it maybe first just sees how it plays out, and they'll make the change for worlds as they see fit from the DCMPs.
Yeah,
and
that's
the end game. They can. If you want to do 2 parts, fine. If you make it into the fact you have to have 2 deep climbs, that makes people want to prioritize deep climbing more.
100%. Yeah, and I think the goal, right, is you want to make it more difficult without completely changing the overall analysis of the game, right? Because to your point, if it was, hey, you need 2 deep climbs to get the RP, I would have guessed that more teams would have went for it than they did probably, or maybe more would have done shallow, that didn't climb at all or don't climb at all right now. So that's a fair point. Connor, what are your thoughts? What do you think? It was noted in chat that the manual says only the barge and coral RP can be changed. That's news to me. If that's the case, I still don't agree with it because I think the auto RP should still change. But that was news to me, so thanks for that in chat. But Connor, what are your overall thoughts?
Yeah, so I agree with Cory about Coral RP. I think 7 is very reasonable to up it to. I mean, even though we know that it's not changing for district champs, most district championships are eliminating roughly half of their district going into their district championship. So the level of play is already going to be going up per whether if it's one field or you got 4. And then from there, I mean, championship is what, 800? I forget how many, 600 or 800. You're getting about a quarter, maybe less than a quarter of FRC teams that are going to be competing. So your quality of play goes up even higher. So I think 7's very reasonable. I wouldn't be shocked if it's 8, but I also, I think it's possible. I think one thing that a lot of people haven't really thought about, or I haven't seen much, is there's still areas on the reef to add additional algae. So what if there's more algae on the reef? You have to go remove it. There's more game pieces in play now. So now I mean, I don't know about what you guys have seen at your local events, but I've started to, especially at UNH this past weekend, a ton of algae has been getting scored up into that barge. Might be a little interesting to start seeing more algae having to try and go up top, because once that barge starts to get filled up, it can be pretty hard to get algae to kind of stay in place, and sometimes it'll just bounce over to the other side of the field. And as for the barge, I want to see go up to 24 points. Have it be 2 deep climbs.
That would be crazy,
dude. We see so many deep climb robots. Just do it.
I will say, I think I guess from the 2 events that we've been to, there is more than I thought there would be. And maybe it's just because the integration nightmare that we had with ours, but I would say that there is more than I thought there would be. So that's a fair point. But I still think that there's not a ton. Admittedly, I'm a bit surprised on how little shallow climbers there are. There are none. At least on the 2 events that I've been to, there has been 1 that is shallow climbed in the 2 events that we've been to. Shout out 1250 for winning us finals 2 at a Ferndale, but with their shallow climb. But
I think we had 2 shallow climb robots at UNH, and I think I've maybe seen 1 other, either at Southern Maine or Pine Tree, but not a whole lot. I agree.
No, that's fair.
I've only seen Globetrotters do it at St. Joe in West Michigan, and it's I don't know. I don't.
The point value is just not there, right? Like you can, if you can score 2 pieces in the same time that it takes you to shallow climb, like it's just not worth it. So yeah, I think I'll be curious to see where it's going to go. I am worried that, like, specifically at MSC, like, we're going to be deciding the top 5 teams in each division by freaking co-op, which is so stupid.
It might be
so stupid. I've got my takes on co-op being the first tiebreaker the past couple of years, but it's just so stupid. But whatever. I digress. But yeah, I'm with you, Corey. It should. We should. I mean, New England district champs are going to have the same issue, right? Like, it's going to be a commonality, because although there is more RPs, like, they're all pretty obtainable this year. Like, there's not one where it's like, wow, this is like really hard to get. Like, they're all pretty. I don't want to say easy, but they're all relatively. I mean, I'll say it. They're all relatively easy if you can accomplish 3/4 of it by yourself, and then if you get one other robot that can contribute, or if you get 3 decent robots that can compete, you can get all 6. We're seeing it across the globe right now. So
yeah,
I'm curious.
One robot can solo it.
Yeah.
One robot can solo all of it, and it's like, that's not. I don't think that should be the way it is.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. All right. Well, before we jump into our final topic of the night, we'll draw for that giveaway from AndyMark, start another one, and a quick announcement from our producer, Tyler.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. Once again, Cool Robots was the keyword for this giveaway from AndyMark. If you do win, please go to funroboxnetwork.com and click that button that we have on our website for giveaway winners. That's how we get the information. Please do so within 48 hours, or we may redraw. And the winner of this is going to be Power Suzuki. Congratulations to you. Please go to funroboticsnetwork.com and click that giveaway link so we can get that. And thanks to AndyMark for the awesome giveaway as well, too. A couple more things to go through as well as we go on here. We do have an awesome announcement, if you haven't heard already, from our friends at Altair, where your team can win some serious money with their global student contest. We're talking money both for your team and also for yourself as well, too. They're giving away multiple $5,000 sponsorships when you submit a video from your team, details in there as well, too, and multiple $2,000, $1,000, $500 individual prizes as well. So if you're already using Altair software, all you got to do is make a couple videos for it, read the details for it, just showcasing Altair software. And if you're not, it is free. It actually comes in the kit of parts as well, too, that you can help optimize your robot, and you can actually submit multiple parts for the individual prizes. And they're just looking for a vertical reel or short for that $5,000 sponsorship prize as well, too. So you can get more information when you go to altair.com/contest or scan one of the 2 QR codes on screen for that as well, too. It is free once again. Many teams out there, including like our friends at 67, the Hot Team, are using Altair to optimize their robot. You can do a lot of great things, many different options with it as well, too. So learn more at altair.com/contest. Let's do our next giveaway as well, too, for our friends at the Thrifty Bot, giving away a $25 Thrifty Bot gift card. In order to enter, type in Mucho Thrifty. That stands for very thrifty, last time I checked. So type that in chat right now. That's your opportunity to win. Don't forget our YouTube subscribers, which is absolutely free to do. Get 3 times luck to win. Mucho Thrifty in chat. We'll draw for that in just a little bit, and let's send it back down to the team.
Awesome. Thanks, Tyler, and thanks again from our friends at Thrifty Bot. And I will hand it to Connor to start us for our final topic of the night.
Yeah, so as a lot of people know, we are going to have a new control system for this for FRC coming up, and it is dual FRC and FTC, which is pretty cool in my opinion. We got to see some expanded items here throughout for capabilities for this control system, as put out in a blog post by First last week. And they're talking about the system core, some of their I/O connectors, and a whole bunch of different things that they have here. A lot of really awesome, cool stuff. They got 4 USB ports, USB-C, your standard Ethernet and RSL power adapters. The biggest thing that stands out for me is having 5 CAN FD ports, which is massive. So CTRE, I'm waiting for that can of war price drop.
I really want to know more info on what those ports are going to be limited to or not limited to. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But.
No. Either way, that's a massive win. Even if it was just 2, I mean that's massive. Just there all on its own. So I guess Nick, if you want to jump in and want to add anything else here, what do you like? What do you not like about the future of FRC here?
Yeah, so I guess there's a few things. One, big fan of the folks that are supporting it: Raspberry Pi, Limelight, WPI. I think those are all good folks who have the right thought at hand and what we want to see. The people that are developing the control system are the people that are going to be developing it. So I think that's a good step in the right direction. The double-edged sword for me, and it's hard because I totally understand it, but it's the FTC FRC dual commonality. I think on the one side, it's really good because it allows people to get in the program young. For Michigan, almost all of FTC folks are in middle school, so it's 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th graders that are getting exposed to it. They're going to use essentially, the same, if not incredibly similar hardware when they get to FRC. So the gap between that knowledge transfer is going to be a lot less than what it is right now between the control hub and the Robo Rio. So that's big for me. The one thing that I worry is that they are going to be so focused on correlating those two to make sure that they're adaptive to both systems that the FRC product or FRC side of it is going to lack a bit because they're so worried on focusing on getting it to be used for both systems. And I hope that it's the case where, hey, this is an FRC feature and this is an FTC feature, but it's going to be the same product that is going to, host both services. And I think that's kind of what they're going towards. So I think that's overall a good thing. But I am a big fan of the general point of, hey, we want kids to get exposed to this early and have the same product for, the 10 years that they're within First throughout middle school and high school. I think that's big. Big fan of them switching over to Molex SL on a good amount of the ports. 33 is using pretty close Molex SL exclusively this year. which we've enjoyed. We lost Cory, but he'll be back. Big fan of the Molex SL stuff on the port, so very cool to see that. We love them. We've had zero issues, knock on wood, through the first 2 events that have had Molex SL, so that's huge. The big thing for me, and we talked about it a little bit, Connor, a couple weeks ago, with regards to Limelight being a developer on it. I'm really curious to see where the COTS vision solution that comes on board with it really pivots to. Because I think, FTC does a lot of TensorFlow stuff, and FRC obviously with the April tags and whatnot. I'm curious to see how they start to mesh those two and what that looks like. But Cory, I don't know if you've had too much time to dive into a lot of the new control system stuff. I know we're still a couple years out, but if you have, what are your overall thoughts on it?
Kind of took a quick glance over. I agree the feeding program of like F2C to FRC, or the transition between the two, will definitely help a lot from like a knowledge standpoint from kids from FTC to FRC. One thing I am worried about is, although Nick, there's a lot of players involved, the WPI in that group,
100%
in it, it's who owns it at the end of the day. If something goes wrong, who owns it? Is it going to be finger pointing? Is it your fault? Is it this guy's fault? So, like, at the end of the day, where's the buck stop, right? Does WPI own it? Does Limelight own it? Does the manufacturer, or wherever that was, I think it's like in Wales or something like that, who owns this when something goes wrong? And I think there's too many players involved that they're just going to be finger pointing, so there's no blame.
No, I'm with you, because ultimately, like, it's not going to be a cheap product. I think they released some, not preliminary numbers, but I mean, when you get that many big players in it, it's not going to be a cheap product. So inherently, when there's a new product, teams will have issues with it. And to your point, Cory, who is going to be, the person that's going to handle the RMAs, and who is going to be the main source that is going to handle the support? And is it going to be, that's Limelight's portion, you got to contact the Limelight folks, and Limelight's going to be like, hey, that's WPI's portion, you got to go talk to. It's like, I'm dealing with this with I'm going to go to rant for a second. I'm dealing with this with Frontier right now on my internet. I talk to account support. They're like, no, you got to talk to technical. I talk to technical, and they're like, no, you got to go talk to loyalty. And then I go to loyalty, and they're like, no, you got to talk to account services. I just want my fiber that is outside of my garage right now installed into my house. It's taken 3 weeks. I haven't got anybody out here yet. It's so annoying. But to your point, Cory, I very well could see, I hope that wouldn't be the case, but I'm worried that, that something like that might come to fruition.
Can we just quickly change the current topic from control system reactions to Nick crashes out?
It's so annoying.
I think that's more appropriate right now.
I've had to re-sign 2 contracts with Xfinity and pay termination fees because I can't go without Wi-Fi at my house right now.
Speaking of crashing out, there he goes. He's back.
He's back.
I'm kidding.
It's like,
and I've got fiber over here, Nick, so it's not working too good.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so don't be so excited about the guys coming. but I'm excited about the 5K NFT buses.
Yeah,
like there's some really good things they're doing, but just make sure it's really good when you're done. There's a lot of people want a good experience.
Yeah, and the big thing too, like we're seeing it in FRC right now with supply chain issues, but you are effectively doubling, if not tripling, the consumer that's going to use the product by making it, dual system. So and it's going to be year round because FTC is now in the fall, right? Or in that fall area. So you're not going to have a ton of time to procure before FRC teams. The next thing FTC, like it's going to be a round the clock thing. It's not going to be okay, we're going to have in stock for 3 months. They're going to go out of stock. I mean, inherently that's probably what it will be, because that's just the way all of FRC products are right now, which is a topic for another time. But stock on it is going to be super important as they wave it in. But
that's going to be pretty interesting because it is because also is Raspberry Pi product, and I don't know if you guys ever see when a new Raspberry Pi product gets released, it is sold out within seconds from scalping. So I hope to God that does not happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right. Well, before we go ahead and wrap up the show, let's bring Tyler back on to draw for that giveaway.
Once again, it was Mucho Thrifty for a $25 gift card from the Thrifty Bot. So go check them out at thethrifty.com and see what you can pick up. It is Mucho Thrifty, so maybe you can get many, many things for just that $25. If you do win, please go to funroboxnetwork.com, click that link in our website in order to claim your giveaway. And it's going to go to Royal COD or Royal COD. Maybe you really like fish. Maybe you really like Call of Duty. Who knows? But congratulations to you. You're taking home a $25 gift card. Thanks again to ThriftyBot and AndyMark for the awesome giveaways today.
Awesome. Thanks again from our friends at Thrifty. Thank you again, Cory, for coming on tonight. On behalf of our producer, Tyler Olds, my co-host, Connor, and all fun correspondents, I'm Nick, and thanks for watching tonight. Good luck to all teams as we enter here into week 5. For a lot of districts, the last official week of district competition before district championships during week 6. Remember now that during the competition season, FRC Roundup is live at 8:30 on Eastern on Monday nights on Fun Robotics Network on our YouTube, and archives of the show can be found on our YouTube channel by searching Fun Robotics Network. So join us next week where we take a look at what is going on with First Robotics on FRC Roundup. Thanks, everyone.
See you guys.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell to stay up to date on future fun videos. Earn up to a $5,000 sponsorship for your team or a $2,000 individual prize when you provide a video submission to the Altair Global Student Contest at altair.com/contest. You can build better robots faster with Altair tools and provide multiple video submissions for the contest. Download Altair tools for free. Scan the QR code or go to altair.com/contest for further details. AndyMark provides superior service with the reliability that teams expect. Check out their sport gearbox and ratchet sport options to their tried and true compliant wheels used by teams all over the world. From mechanical and electrical products to tools and hardware, head on over to AndyMark.com for your one-stop shop of high quality and affordable solutions.